Yeah. What's up, guys? It's your boy 3 Style here, checking in with another video. And today we'll be doing a video on who has the best entrance exams in shonen anime. And yeah, and then you might ask yourself, what is classified as a good entrance exams? Because Boruto had an entrance exams, and Boruto entrance exams, it was pretty much booty cheeks for like the whole entire like exams. It was pretty much booty cheeks. I can probably say like that one Boruto fight when he went up against Guard, I don't know, nephew, I think. Yeah, when he went up against Guard nephew, that's the only fight that I actually like pretty much liked in that whole entire like Boruto entrance exams. But yeah, and then but there actually is some good entrance exams out there, like Naruto Part 1. That entrance exams was pretty much amazing. Like, it's one of the best in shonen history. So yeah, and pretty much what I classify as a good entrance exams is if the author uses the exams to pretty much advance the plot and set up future plot points into the story. Because like in Naruto, they pretty much set up future plot points, like introducing Guard, and Guard goes on later in the series to play a bigger part in a Naruto role in the series. I don't know why I'm messing up, but yeah. And then also, like, another thing is if they introduce new characters or even new powers or even new like plot points, I mean, not plot points, but power systems into the anime, then I would pretty much consider that as a good entrance exams. Like, I can go back on Naruto, they introduced new powers. Like, remember Naruto, he pretty much discovered his the nine-tailed fox, and he learned how to pretty much kind of use it when he was going up against Neji. And then we had Sasuke, he learned the Chidori. So it's a lot of different things that like we get to like see in a Naruto, and that will makes it a very good entrance exams. And yeah, and then you might ask, what are they pretty much used for? Like I said, they pretty much used for just to advance the plot and just introduce new plot points into the series. And yeah, and then the ones I chose, I pretty much already mentioned them, and it's the Hunter x Hunter versus the Naruto entrance exams, and who has the best one. And yeah, like, that's pretty much it for like the intro, and let's get into the real video. The first thing first is we have the Naruto Shonen exams. And yeah, obviously it's gonna be in part 1, and we're not doing the Boruto version because you already know this absolute garbage. But yeah, and first thing first is like what makes like Naruto Shonen exams one of the best arcs in Naruto is like there's a bunch of different reasons, but one of the reasons is because of the characters that we got introduced to during this arc. Like, we got introduced to Neji, and with Neji, like he goes on later into the story, and like Naruto Shippuden, he goes on to actually play a pretty big role. And then the arc right after this, like the Sasuke retrieval arc, Neji actually plays a pretty big like role in their entire arc. So yeah. And then we have Gar, and then pretty much during this arc, the Chunin exam arc, Gar pretty much played the villain. He was pretty much the villain of this entire arc, and he had the most character development and everything. So yeah. And then we had Rock Lee, and Rock Lee he actually played a like a real huge role in this series. Like, he ended up having like one of the best fight scenes ever in like shonen history when he was fighting against Gar. So yeah, he goes on to play a huge role in this, and it's pretty much his arc too. And then we have Orochimaru. Orochimaru, like, you probably like, you really like towards the beginning, you kind of like you really do feel his presence, but towards the middle of the arc, we kind of forget about him. But right towards the end of the arc, when like Sasuke started back fighting Gaara, and we kind of started to feel Orochimaru presence, and because you remember he gave Sasuke the curse mark, so we kind of get to feel his presence in the series. And yeah, and then one other thing that made it so great was the fights that we got to see. And like one of the fights we got to see was Naruto and versus Neji, and that fight right there, it was so great. And then we got introduced to Naruto. We got like the kind of see what his nine tails can do. His nine tails pretty much like kind of amp his chakra up when like he really need like some chakra, and how all his regular chakra has ran out. He can go to the nine tails chakra, and we got to kind of see that in that fight. And then we also got to see Neji coming to terms with his daddy dying, and him just getting along with the Hyuga clan in general. And yeah, and then we got the Naruto versus Gaara fight. Now this fight right here was like, I'd say like the second biggest fight in this whole entire arc, because first of all we got to see Naruto, and we got to see more of the Nine Tails, and like what like the Nine Tails can kind of do for Naruto. Like he pretty much helped Naruto, like the Nine Tails pretty much helped Naruto fight the One Tails, and Naruto was a kid. Like that's we got to see how powerful the Nine Tails was. And then we also got to see some conflict between Sasuke and Naruto, because Sasuke kind of realized that Naruto was stronger than him. And yeah, and then we got the Sasuke versus Gaara fight. And with this fight right here, like I don't know why, but like I really like this fight, because with this fight, like we got to see like Sasuke make his comeback, because after he got the curse mark, he was kind of like in pain and stuff because of the mark. And like I don't know the all the details about the curse mark, but yeah, but we just see him in pain and stuff. And then he had to make his comeback into coming into the exams, because pretty much while everybody else was training for the exams, he was pretty much injured because of Orochimaru guy from the curse mark. But seeing him make a comeback and actually being able to fight Gaara, and he pushed Gaara to he pushed Gaara so hard. And I think like if that fight would have continued on, I think Gaara would end up winning like overall. But at the same time, I kind of think Sasuke probably would have used his curse mark, but like we never know. And yeah. And then after that, we get to see the one of the best fights in shonen history, hands down, the Rock Lee versus Gaara fight. And yeah, this fight right here did so much for Rock Lee character. And this whole entire fight pretty much set the tone for the rest of the exams. After Rock Lee fight against Gaara, we pretty much like the whole tone was set for the whole entire series. That the audience kind of knew that the series, like it took a more darker tone, and we knew that like the author, he wasn't scared to hurt characters and get kill characters off. Even though nobody did fight in this battle, Rock Lee was like severely injured. And yeah, then the third and probably like the biggest reason why this makes like Naruto Shonen Exams one of the best is because of the character development. And with the character development, this pretty much like played a huge role throughout this whole entire arc. Cause like one of the characters that got like some of the best character development was Sasuke. And with Sasuke, when Sasuke first came into this arc, him and Naruto, like they was all friendly and stuff, and like him and Naruto, like their relationship, they was just getting to like really get into the groove of pretty much knowing each other and just becoming friends. And then like towards the middle, like the second phase of the arc, like Sasuke end up getting the curse mark, and Sasuke, he started to get more distant towards Naruto. And then like towards the end, like we got to see him become all the way distant from Naruto, because at that point with the Naruto and Gaara fight, Sasuke was there, and Sasuke, you obviously know that he wasn't able to do nothing against Gaara when he was in his full I don't know the name of the form, but it was pretty much the One Tails had taken over his body. But you already know Sasuke couldn't beat him, so Sasuke seen Naruto fighting him, and Sasuke kind of got depressed. And Sasuke, obviously this ends up leading on to like play a future role. Like Sasuke end up leaving the village, and then we get the Sasuke retrieval arc. And yeah, and then like this pretty much led Sasuke down his dark path to becoming like Sasuke really went evil, but he just really wanted power to defeat Itachi. So yeah, like this was like a really good big arc for his character. And then we got Neji. And for Neji, this was like a pretty big arc too, because at the beginning of the arc, we had just got introduced to Neji. And Neji, he was just like a pretty powerful dude, like, but he had no character about him until he fight Naruto. When he fought Naruto, he pretty much when he fought Hinata, he had a grudge against Hinata because of the Hyuga clan. Like pretty much his dad was used as a body double, and then like the Hyuga clan probably like kind of threw him to the side, and yeah, and he was kind of mad because like his father pretty much died, and he wanted to get revenge on Hinata's dad because he just blamed Hinata's dad for his dad's death. And yeah, and with this like we get to see Neji. Obviously he was treating Hinata wrong, and he was finna get ready to like probably try to cripple her. But then obviously Naruto stops him, and then Naruto ends up challenging him, and then during the like I think like the third phase they end up getting matched up together, so obviously they have to fight each other. So then Naruto and then Naruto and Neji, they end up fighting, and then Neji, he goes through kind of like a character redemption arc in kind of a way, because he kind of comes to terms with that his father did that because his father was kind of like brothers with Hinata dad, so he kind of just wanted to he kind of did that on his own accord, kind of getting killed. And and yeah, and then like Neji came to terms with that, and obviously Naruto ended up winning, and Neji ends up losing. So then Neji also kind of becomes more humble and becomes more friendly towards everybody, because at the beginning he was kind of real prideful because he was like one of the best, like if not the best person out of the Leaf Village. He was probably the best character coming into the Chunin exams other than Gaara, and Gaara wasn't a part of the Leaf Village. And yeah, and then speaking of Gaara, we have Gaara, and Gaara pretty much with his character like went through the phase of being a villain and going all the way from a villain all the way to actually like a good person. Cause you remember like with his character arc, he pretty much like as a kid, you obviously know he was treated bad because he had the One Tails inside of him. So he pretty much had the same exact story Naruto had, but his story was kind of like a little bit more worse because people was actually trying to kill him and stuff. So he kind of gained the defensive. That's how he got his sand barrier and stuff, because he's more defensive based because a kid, like people kept trying to kill him, so I always had to defend himself. And yeah, and then like with Gaara, like I said, he goes from being this like this just really he wasn't evil, but he was just really lonely until he met Naruto, and after the Naruto fight he kind of gained a friend, and that was pretty much the point of his character redemption arc, was him like pretty much figuring out that he wasn't alone, because he had a sister and brother too. I forgot their names, but he had them, but he didn't realize that he had them because he felt so alone, because like obviously his dad wasn't there, his mother wasn't there, and pretty much nobody else but his brother and sister. So yeah, and then we got then we got Sakura. I don't know why I put this on the list, but yeah, Sakura with her character, like I ain't gonna lie, towards this in this arc she does get like some type of character development, but it's not even worth mentioning, because later on in the story that character development arc is pretty much like thrown out the window. Because you remember when Sakura, when she goes on to like pretty much join Tsunade and her training, they kind of threw Sakura character out the window and tried to remake her character, and that's what I think. I can't speak right now, but like that's why I think they failed when it came to Sakura, is because of the one thing was just because of like with Sakura, like you tried to create her like she was already a good character, and you could have kept expanding on her character, but when she met Tsunade, they kind of threw her character out the window and introduced a new Sakura that was totally different. Because you remember after like right at the beginning of Shippuden, Sakura was a totally different character. It was like, who is she? And yeah, I'm not gonna go off that rant because obviously I'm trying to praise Naruto, not obviously bash it. And yeah, and that's pretty much it for the Naruto I already know the Naruto tuning exams. And yeah, alright then. Now we got the Hunter x Hunter exams. And yeah, and then you might ask me what makes the Hunter x Hunter exams like pretty much like on par with Naruto tuning exams. And there's a lot that makes the Hunter exams just as good as the tuning exams. And yeah, and one of the things is the different phases of the exams. And yeah, and like the pre-phase, like we got to find out the exams, like the characters, they had to find out the exam's location. And then as the first phase, they had to go to the location of the exams. And you probably be like, okay, then like why is you even telling us this? Cause like where's the fighting? But like with these, like when they had to find the exams, they had to go through a lot just to find the exams. And then once they got to the exams, they had to go through a lot. So like with these phases probably sound like they didn't really have much involved in them, but they actually did. And then phase two, they had a cooking test where all the intestines, all the participants, they had to cook a meal that was good enough for one of the professional hunters. Like whoever, like if he liked the meal, then they'll obviously be able to pass the test. So they pretty much had to cook a meal, and you probably think like why are they doing it? But like it actually was a good reason why they was doing it. I'm not gonna go into detail. And yeah, then we got phase three, and phase three was pretty much when they had to go down the tower where it was full of a bunch of criminals, and they had to survive 72 hours, and they had to win 3 matches. And obviously they had to go through a bunch of obstacles too in this tower, but mostly they had to get past like one of the final stages, and that was to beat like a group of criminals. And you pretty much like, if you can beat them, then you'll make it on to the next round. And yeah, and then we got phase four. And phase four was when they went to the island, and then they had to collect like 3 badges out of 25 people. So like all them people who like 25 out of 25 people, whoever get 3 badges from the people, then they end up winning. And yeah, and then we got the final phase. The final phase was pretty much a tournament style battle. So it was kind of just pretty much whoever won it towards the end, and like they pretty much win the whole entire thing, and they become exams. But then the smart thing with that was that the character Netero, he set it up where the exams were whoever the only like one person was gonna lose, and everybody else was gonna win. So yeah, like everybody had to win 1 match. So whoever ended up losing, like one person was only gonna lose. Everybody else was gonna win. So yeah. And then one other thing that made like the Hunter x Hunter exams like really good was the trials that they put the characters through. And yeah, and then like one of the trials obviously was it was like when they was trying to find the exams, it was the 2 choice quiz where you only pretty much had like 2 answers to a question. If you guessed it wrong, then you obviously, they wouldn't tell you the location. And with this right here, it pretty much challenged it pretty much showed us out of our main cast, Kawapika, Gon, and Leorio, it pretty much showed us who had like the best resolve when it came mentally. And obviously Kawapika, like he was the only one really able to deal with it. And then Gon, Gon was pretty much getting lost because Gon didn't understand nothing that was happening, and he pretty much didn't understand the mind game that the older lady in Kawapika was playing. And then Leorio was just getting really frustrated, and he was trying to actually beat up the old woman to get him the location. So yes, it's like it was pretty much just challenging our main group, and they was pretty much trying to see like who had the most mental resolve. Obviously it was Kawapika. And yeah, and then we get to like towards I think it was the second phase or the third phase where we got to see the Leorio fight in Hisoka. And with this fight, we pretty much got to see kind of the relationship that Leorio built with Kawapika, Killua, and Gon. Cause like Leroy was pretty much trying to sacrifice himself so like Gon them could make it, and then so he tried to stay back and to pretty much defeat Hisoka pretty much on his own, and he knew he had no chance of winning, but he still stood up to the enemy and still tried to fight. So yeah, like Leorio had there was pretty much like there was like a big moment for Leorio and his character. And yeah, and then we got the Gon and Killua when they went up against Netero and they had to take the ball to get away from Netero. And this fight, like, well, it wasn't a fight, but it was like a challenge. And with this challenge right here, Killua, he didn't really do too much in the challenge, but Gon did a lot in the challenge. And this pretty much like show us the brilliance of like Gon's character and what Gon's character really can do, and like what was the potential of Gon's character, because Gon was actually able to make the dude use his I think it was his left hand, and yeah, he actually made the dude use his left hand. So Gon had a lot of potential, and it showed us quick on his feet when it comes to combat, and pretty much you know what I'm trying to say. And yeah, and then we got the Kurapika fight versus I don't know the dude name, but when the dude like when they was in the when that was in the tower, when like the dude, he was posing as a spider. And with this moment right here, this pretty much showed us Kurapika's hatred for the spiders, cause this dude, he probably would have won the fight against Kurapika, but then he had to go on and act like he was a part of the spiders. And then we found out that like pretty much we pretty much got to see like kind of see how like how much hatred Kurapika had for the spiders, because you know the spiders killed all his pretty much everybody in his village for the scarlet eyes that they had. And yeah, then Kurapika went off and Kurapika bodied him, obviously. And yeah, and then we got to see like one of the last things was when we got to see I don't know why I'm about to say that, but Killua, when Killua was getting manipulated by his brother. And this right here, even though Killua was being manipulated throughout this whole entire battle, it still got us to see an insight into how Killua character, like how mentally broken Killua was by his brother, because his brother kind of his brother implanted needles in him. So every time like Killua went up against a stronger opponent, Killua always ran. And then with this was kind of hindering Killua from actually becoming stronger, because obviously if you want to become stronger, you got to go up against somebody stronger than you. You can't fight people that's weaker than you. You'll never actually get stronger. So this was kind of holding Killua back mentally. And later on in the story, this actually goes on to play a part. And like the Chimera Ant arc, where like Killua had to mentally break through the barrier that his brother set for him, and he was actually able to break through, like break his limits and actually become stronger. And yeah. And then another thing was the characters that we was introduced to in this series, because the characters that we was introduced in this series actually goes on to play some pretty huge roles in like the future arcs, like Hisoka. We got introduced to Hisoka, and through this arc, Hisoka was just like kind of a mystery man. We really didn't know. We knew he was gonna be a future villain, but we didn't really know nothing about him. But like Hisoka goes on to actually plays a pretty huge role, because he was actually a part of the spiders, but he actually left. And like he's actually like he just goes on to play a real huge role. And then if you read the manga, obviously he plays a real huge role. And yeah, and then we got Netero. And with Netero obviously in the Chimera Ant arc, he goes off and he shows us that he's like one of the strongest beings in the Hunter x Hunter universe, or the universe. So yeah, and like just seeing Netero in this arc, and then you go on later to find out that Netero like one of the strongest people ever. That really goes on, like that really shows us a lot about how the Arthur was actually planning all this in the future, because like he set up a lot of characters to play a role later on in the future. And yeah, and then we obviously got to introduce to Ilmi, Killua's brother. And with Killua's brother, like we pretty much got to see that he was pretty much mind controlling Killua. And like I said, this goes on later in the story. That plays a plays like a pretty big arc for like a character arc for Killua, and him just having to break through his brother's mental control and break through that barrier that his brother set for him. And yeah, and that's pretty much it for like the Hunter x Hunter exams. Alright then, now we have to figure out which one is better, like who has the better exams, Naruto or Hunter x Hunter. And if we was going out fights alone, then I easily put Naruto. Naruto easily wins when it comes to fights. But if we're going off writing and just future character plot points, then obviously I go with Hunter x Hunter. Cause Hunter x Hunter had the superior writing, but Naruto had the superior fights. So yeah. And then in my opinion, like my overall opinion, I'll go with Naruto. Obviously, you know Naruto the best. Even though Hunter x Hunter is really good, I'm still gonna go with Naruto. And the only reason why I'm going with Naruto is because like Hunter x Hunter, like the only thing that messed up Hunter x Hunter was the placement of the Hunter exams arc. Like if the Hunter exams arc was placed like a little bit ahead of time, I mean not ahead of time, but a little bit later on in the story, then I think it would have been a great arc. But the thing was that the Hunter exams, like that arc was one of the first arcs, like it was the first arc. So right when a character was like right when somebody started watching Hunter x Hunter, they gotta go through the Hunter exams arc, and pretty much during that whole arc, you just like, what is this crap? Like, can you hurry up and finish? Cause it's boring. And that's how I was doing the Hunter exams, cause it was boring. I'm not gonna lie, but like if you end up like watching like the arc after the Hunter exams arc, and if you watch their arc first and then you go back and watch the Hunter exams arc, then you will find like you will kind of like the Hunter exams arc way more, because like it was just the placement of the Hunter exams arc. Like if they would have had Gon meet Killua, Kurapika, and Leorio before the Ancient Exams arc, then I think it would have been way better. But they met during the exams. They didn't meet before, but they met pretty much during the exam. So we was pretty much getting introduced to these new characters. Like left and right, we was getting introduced to Hisoka, Netero, Killua, Kurapika. Like I think just the author just jammed too many characters into that arc. If that arc was like just like a few episodes like after, like I just say like 10 episodes, like you give us like 10 episodes to get to know the characters, and then you did the Hunter exams, then I think it would have been way better. And yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling. And yeah, and then obviously not to down credit Naruto. Naruto had amazing fights, and it had amazing character development. And yeah, like I already talked about it, but like Naruto now, like the Naruto Shonen exams, like I said, like I got picked that one. It had like one of the best like Shonen exams in like history of all Shonen anime. And yeah, you already know that's pretty much it for this video. You already know, leave in the comments, tell me which one is your favorite, the Hunter exams or the Shonen exams. And yeah, and I already know this video will be 26 minutes long, or even longer than that. So if you did stay, I give you props. You already know, leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want more videos like this. And yeah, you already know, it's your boy, and I'm out. To the tune, till I'm dead.